What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, Ryan Anderson. Welcome to Get Bucked, episode 12. As usual, I get to be joined by my co-host. That's none other than Jackson Muniz. Jackson, how's it going?
It could be better if we would have not messed up a little ticket we put in earlier today. But, that's life. And
just another day of us trying to bet the horses in the middle of doing whatever it is that we do.
Multitasking just never works.
It never works out great. Sometimes you cancel the wrong ticket. Other times you play the wrong ticket. Both, I think, happened today, and both bit us in the ass. So that is what it is. But today we have a ticket that we did not multitask on. We're doing the cross-country pick 5 that's containing races 7, 8, and 9 from Aqueduct, and then races 1 and 3 from our home track, Del Mar. They're spread out. So I think it's legs 1, 2, and 4 are the Aqueduct races, and legs 3 and 5 are from Del Mar. We're going to go through the ticket. We gave ourselves a $75 budget. Jackson, your ticket was right at the $75 mark. Mine was $15. So, I didn't have to go that deep. So I love to press these tickets up though. So I'll play it up to a $75 marker. That's played over 5 times. So $2.50 ticket or whatever, but I'll press it up. We'll see if we can't get lucky, and hopefully one of us gets the ticket home. We're also going to be going over the 2 stakes at Woodbine for Saturday. That's the Autumn Stakes, which I believe is a grade 3, and the Kennedy Road, which is a grade 2, both of which will take place over the Tapeta at Woodbine. And are we off the turf at Woodbine for?
They are done for the year, yes.
They're done for the year, yeah.
All synthetic.
All synthetic moving forward. There we go. These 2 stakes were scheduled for last weekend, but they moved them to this weekend. So, more stakes action. You got to love it. We'll kind of jump right in real quick though. Please like, subscribe, and turn those notifications on so you don't miss out on future episodes. We got 2 shows a week on this channel. We have Get Bucked, obviously, which comes on Wednesday, Thursday, depending on our schedules here, and then Tuesdays for the new show Big Hoof Energy with Jackson, myself, and new co-host Kaylee Shapiro. Yeah, that name is awesome. Big fan of it. So we're gonna keep it moving. Hope everybody stays with me as I try and share the correct screen at the correct time because it's all over the place. But we're going to start off at Aqueduct. I know I got to get the correct race, which is going to be race number 7. That's going to kick off our sequence here. Put the picks up. I am just singling the 3, and then Jackson, you are going 5 deep with the 1, 2, 3, 5, and 9. So why don't you start us off? We'll start off with the Rail Runner. We have morning lines now. The number 1, Steady Progress. Why are you including this horse on your ticket?
Yeah, well, do you mind if we start with the 3? Because I do think this race has to start with a 3, right? Because
it does.
It's your single. I just didn't know what to do with them because I felt like there was a lot of speed in here. I know we talked about this race the other day. I think it's a 3 horse has a lot of pace. I believe it was the 4 who also does. I'm in the same boat as you. My PPs are all over the place. So let me make sure I have the right numbers here.
Yeah, 4's got some pace. 3 obviously needs
4 drawn right outside has some pace. The 6 is somewhat quick. The 8 can be if he really needs to. I don't know. Even though 2 horse drawn to his inside has some speed. And this horse, if you look at his PPs, he's a need the lead type. When he doesn't make the front end, he doesn't run. So you're going to know very quickly if his horse is the winner or not. And he might just be better than these. He is just better than these. It's just a matter of can he clear this field or not. And I just don't trust these $10,000 claimers that keep running consistently, even if it is Linda Rice, even if it is Dylan Davis. I'm going to try to be spreading here. I may come back and play ticket again where I single this horse because he is the most likely winner. But I just thought there could be so much more value in this sequence if you can beat this horse.
Yeah, if you can beat this horse, this is the cross-country pick 5 that we're speaking about here. If you can beat a single or a horse that's going to be this odds on, we're probably looking at 4 to 5 is pretty close. I'm going to guess 3 to 5 is what this horse will go off at, maybe even lower, just with coming off of 4 straight wins.
And cross country, everyone's going to single this horse where there's no CAW money. It's a tough sequence. This is going to be everyone's single. So
exactly. So if you beat this horse, then you are in line for a massive payday. Oftentimes we see one of these favorites go down in this sequence, and that inflates the payouts so much. So I do admire the fact that you're able to go, 5 deep in here with this $75 budget. One of the horses for Napal Chatterpaul, one of the funniest names to say in the sport. as a trainer, but you're using this horse on your ticket. Are you just spreading deep in case this thing really falls apart?
I'm just spreading. Yeah, the 1 and 5 horses I think can pick up the pieces late. Should it fall apart? Same with the 2 is a weird one where he has races where it's on the lead. He has races where it comes from way off of it. So the 1, 2, and 5 are just the price plays I thought made some sense in here on their best days. Obviously, the 3 needs to fall through a little bit for those horses to get into the mix. But if it just touched one, I don't think that's impossible. And then the 9 would be the one that probably is the most likely to upset the favorite. I know he just finished.
The 8?
I did this in the text too.
We did, yeah.
There is no 9 in the race. It's number 8. It's even on the bottom of the screen. It's the 8. Sorry, people. The 8 wasn't that far behind last time, and that was when Valenzuela did kind of have things his own way up there. So I think he's the horse that should appreciate getting back to 2 turns. That might be the key here for him. Just going to need an aggressive ride from that outside post. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like Cumberland Blues. If this race were to fall apart here, this runner has some, decent tactical speed at the 1 turn. The 2 turns shouldn't be a problem versus this level. And then Command Performance would probably be my C, just because I know he has some back races that could absolutely win here. He just hasn't quite been in the right form, it would seem, as of late. But that's the first leg of 5 in the cross-country pick 5. I will get the picks or one more time. I'm just singling the 3. That's Valenzuela, Jackson. You're going 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8. Not 9. 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8. And that is that's leg A. Leg B, I am. It's my turn to kind of spread a little deep at pause in the leg here. So I am going 1, 2, 3, 9, and 10. Jackson, you are going 1, 2, 9. I will throw the picks up on the screen again here. Throw the past performances. We're going a mile and a 16th for state bred fillies and mares. The morning line favorite, as we kind of, I don't know if we assumed, but we kind of saw this coming is the number 1 Autumn. And I'm not going to get beat by this horse in this sequence, at least, just because, I mean, you mentioned it on our other show. This is the weakest field this horse is going to be facing. But I'll let you kick it off. You're using the 1 Autumn on your ticket.
Yeah, the 1 would be my key here if I had to. We talked about it. It's today. It's now or never for this horse, right? Last time she was sprinting and she ran fine, but that's not what she wants to do. The 3 races prior to that, the 1 at Aqueduct, she had some trouble. Still ran pretty well. That was a better field. And the 2 at Saratoga, especially, those were much better fields. And she did the dirty work both those days, especially that one in August where that was a wicked fast pace she set, and she ran fine in there. I know the figure dropped off a little bit, but got to give her some bonus points for how fast they went. There's a lot of horses in here that you don't know what they're going to do. They're not that great. There's a lot of question marks. Horses coming out of claiming races into this level. So this is a career soft spot. She's got tactical speed. She can pass some horses if she needs to. Dylan Davis in the saddle, rail draw, just a lot of things to like.
Without a doubt. I'm going, one of my top choices is, I'll let you touch on the number 2 there, as that's another horse you're using on your ticket. But I'm going to be using a little bit naughty for Danny Gargan, Junior Alvarado. I love the combo here as they have teamed up 9 times in the past year at Aqueduct, and we're hitting at 44%. Outside of Aqueduct, we're 38%. So this is one of those sneaky combos, and they're able to hit at prices. I love the Oscar performances on the turf. Again, not sure not sure there's any world beaters in here, so shouldn't take too much to best this field, and this horse might just be best on this day. And it looks like you get a decent price on the morning line at 6-1, so I'd take anything around there for a little bit naughty. We'll shift just inside to the number 2. That's just one more, a horse that was my top pick on the Big Hoof Energy show, and a horse that we are both including on our pick 5 tickets. What'd you like with this one?
Yeah, you and Kaylee covered it pretty well the other day. I think this is just a horse that ran in a much, much tougher race first time out and just never had a really good trip, but took some money on that. I mean, he was only 9-1 in that field. That was against Open Company, and that hasn't been seen since, but the figure was fine. And we keep talking, this isn't the best field ever. So if she can run it all, she's going to show it today. And they're trying to get a grass race into her before this meet ends. So I think it's pretty telling that she'll be ready to go. Absolutely,
without a doubt. I love the pause in races like this. I think he just fits really well, and yeah, all the numbers match up for me. Another horse I'm going to be using as we go out to the number. I'll go to the number 10 because I'll let you talk about the number 9. But we'll have them both on the screen here. The number 10 is Detonate, Romero Mirage for Christophe Clement. First time on turf was meh, but I like to give him another shot in here. Again, it was against Maiden Claiming Company, and today we step up first, made special weight. However, I don't know. I mean, maybe. I don't have any real strong convictions in here. It's a pretty wide open race, a race that I definitely felt the need to spread and go pretty deep in, because I think any one of even more than 5 horses that I used on my ticket, I think any one of like 6 or 7 have a shot. One of which is a horse that's going to be trying turf for the first time, and that's a horse that you're using is in your ticket as well. That's Elite Status.
Yeah, she'd be a price play in here for me. Some question marks, obviously, about the grass. She's never done it, and she's not exactly bred for it. But I do think it's interesting that she shows up here, and Joel Rosario bothers to ride here instead of Christophe Clement's horse on the outside, who he obviously first called for. He doesn't ride for Terra Nova very, very often, so the fact that he does show up here is pretty telling, in my opinion. And she showed some ability last year. I mean, she was third in that stakes race on debut, and that was a quick pace. She was up against. She got the lead, just got a little tired. Something went wrong last time. I mean, she hasn't been seen since, but if she's ready to go in this spot, she could make some noise in here.
Absolutely. A horse that I included pretty much just off of your testimony, for lack of a better word, on Big Hoof Energy, a horse that first time on turf. It's promising that Rosario shows here, because normally he's first call for Clement, who's on the 10, who trains the 10 rather. And Romero Mirage is going to be the rider today for Detonate, but Elite Status and Rosario picking up the mount on that one from Trevor McCarthy, who I believe is stepping away for a little bit. So wish him all the best and whatever it is that he's going to be getting up to. But Elite Status, first time on turf, that could cause, a jump up in performance for those runners. And again, it's not going to take too much. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 9, and 10. Jackson is going 1, 2, and 9. As we move on to leg C, or the third leg of the cross country pick 5. And I got to share a new screen, because now we are going out to Del Mar. And here we go. There we go. All right. Picks are up. I am singling the number 2. Jackson, you are going 5 deep. We've structured this a little different, which I kind of like. I'm interested to see these full tickets as we put them together. I will let you go ahead and talk about the Rail Runner, the number 1 that you have on your ticket here. And that's and the Ohm of the Brave, a pretty smartly named horse.
Interesting name. I like it. This was the one I wasn't really sure if I should include or not. I just did, mostly because I had the budget to. And that number leaps off the page. The 73 buyer is much better, I think, than anyone's ran in this field. But I didn't think that was a very strong race either. But he just makes some sense based on that number. He can take a step forward for Knapp, who usually does it a little bit better second time out, drawn well, and should be able to improve if he can get a little more forward, because he was too far back last time. If he's that far back at Del Mar and going 5 furlongs, he's in trouble.
100%. Yeah, definitely agree. It's going to be tough to overcome that at Del Mar, certainly. However, if he runs back to that number, you've got to imagine that's a pretty strong. Yeah. That's a pretty strong figure for this level. Right. But again, you brought up a great point. Coming from 5, 6, 7 lengths out of it, going 5 furlongs is just, that's much too short. You're left with way too much to do. Sorry, excuse the words. We're still kind of getting back into the swing of things here. So yeah, the 1 definitely deserved a look. I'll talk about my 2 real quick before we go out to your others, but a horse that we both used, that's Just a Graze, trained by Mike Pipey, who had a pretty good week out at Del Mar. He had a good winner, I believe, to cap off one of the cards, and his runners have been firing. So Just a Graze is a horse that I like, cutting back to 5 furlongs from 2 6 furlong tries at Del Mar. I think it's going to hit him right between the eyes. You see that he's able to kind of pass horses and make up ground. He just hasn't quite gotten there. I think the cutback is going to be one of those examples where as a closer, it kind of sharpens up and kind of emphasizes the turn of foot this one has. I like his acceleration down the lane, and I think Barrios' second time aboard for this try should get the job done at a nice, cozy post position as well on the 2-hole. Did you have anything else to add there?
No, I think you covered it pretty well.
All right. Well, thanks. And then we'll go to the number 5, which should be Desert Rocket. What led you to include this horse on your ticket?
Yeah, just another one that ran really well here this summer at Del Mar, 2 seconds. And those are probably better fields than he's facing now in the fall meet. The summer meets are usually a lot better. Didn't get the right trip last time, but should make plenty of sense in here. I think he's 5-1 on the morning line, which seemed a little high to me, but he is a deep closer, which means he is going to need some help up front. Not quite sure he's going to get it, but he's definitely dangerous on his best effort.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Two other horses you're using are further to the outside. I want to say it's these two that you see on the screen now, Sir Rocket being the 8 and Miss Joe's Curlin the 7.
Yeah, the 7, Miss Joe's Curlin is, I think he's 8-1, and neither of us are fans of Victor Espinosa on the grass, but this is a speed horse who ran much better last time. I mean, that she was right up there on the pace, shook off the pace rivals, and just got collared late by a come from behind her. So that was a good effort. Cutting back to 5 furlongs should help this horse. Just got to get out of the gate, try to get to the rail, and take this field as far as she can, I would imagine, is the plan. And then the 8, Sir Rocket, is a horse I was watching on the workouts on XBTV, and he looks like he's pretty quick, actually. He was working out with some out of the gate with the horse called I'm Ripped for Doug O'Neill, who's brought it off a couple straight wins, I believe, on the dirt, and he actually was right there out of the gate with them the first furlong. And that's a very fast horse he was going with. Didn't travel with him after that, but it was on the dirt. This horse is bred all over for the grass. And Kimura shows up here. A little concerning, the trainer, Drysdale's not great first time out, but with these late season 3-year-olds, I mean, I got to imagine he's fully cranked up because they started to miss so much time.
Absolutely, yeah. And the Sir Prance-A-Lots on turf have just been exceptional. So looking forward to seeing this one run. Again, this was a really deep field where you go a lot of different options. A horse that I have as a B is Big Gain, the number 6, trained by Peter Miller, ridden by Freysu in this spot. This is a combination that's kind of grown the past year. Freysu's become kind of a top rider for Peter Miller out on the West Coast in a lot of scenarios, unless, a guy like Ray Lou is in town. But I believe he's out at Kentucky or wherever. But Big Gain here, going dirt to turf, stepping up in class with 3 maiden claimer tries. However, the 2 and 3 back buyer speed figures fit pretty well here. I think you get the jockey upgrade for turf with Freysu, and you see their last effort, Santa Anita Dirt, wasn't ideal. However, you can always bounce back from that. So getting onto turf for the first time, you got Speightstown on the bottom, so that's a bit of a sprint. And then Mr. Big, I don't love him as a sire, if I'm being honest, but I don't love him, but I think the dirt, I don't. I just think the dirt to turf angle could be a benefit here because clearly this one's shown some ability, has been the favorite in each of the last 2 starts, given these were at a lower level and now steps up versus maiden special weight. But if he shows that 70 buyer, that's going to put him right in the mix, and he has the ability to be forwardly placed.
Yeah, I threw him out just because he ran so good on debut against the stablemate Tapala, who is now a stakes winner. He was, 2 lengths behind him. Then he wasn't seen for 8 months, shows up for a tag, gets beaten and claimed at 3-5, then show up again for a tag, and he was beaten again at 3-5 as well, I believe. So just there's enough negative signs there. I'm going to try to beat him at a short price.
Yeah, very fair. But that is leg C. Sorry. There we go. There are the picks. I am singling the 2, and then Jackson is going 5 deep with the 1, 2, 5, 7, and 8. I am going to try and pull up we're going to go back to DRF now because I have to hop all over the place. This is, I don't want to say impossible because it can clearly be done, but it is just, I'm hopping all over the place. We're going a mile. It's a stakes race here. We're going in leg 4, leg D. As you can see, I'm going 4-9, Jackson going number 4. If you tuned in to Big Hoof Energy, this is a big push for Jackson. So Jackson, you're going to lead us off here. We're going a mile. We're going 2-year-olds. I think it's a field full of colts, but obviously if you're a filly and wanted to run here, you could. Your single and one of your top plays, Jack and Jim by Graham Motion, our guy, or your guy, really.
Yeah. No, I just thought it was a really good effort. I mean, they came early on in the meet where at a time where the turf course was just speed. It was merry-go-round, and that race was no exception. The 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place finishers were in the top 4 throughout the race. He was the only one that made any kind of move from off the pace, and he still got the job done after not a really great start. So I think he can be more forward in this race if he needs to be. It was just impressive that the horses that came out of that race came back to run well again. And we've talked about all the time, Motion is not great first time out. He really cranks him up second time out. So the fact that he was able to win, overcome the debut, and overcome the turf course, that kind of tells me this horse can run a little bit. So strong push in here. I didn't think this was the greatest field, and I thought there's enough speed in here to set it up for him. So he's going to be a strong push for me. 9-2 seems more than fair.
Absolutely. I like it. My top pick in here, I did want to include your 4 because I do think that horse has a lot of ability and a better post, which is going to go a long way with these 2-year-olds. But early adopter, I think, coming out of that Pilgrim Stakes over a yielding ground where Zulu Kingdom came out to win and then run in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. Didn't do a whole lot of running in there, but certainly still a respectable runner for a top trainer in Chad Brown. Chad Brown obviously sends out early adopter here. This is his only entrant. Pratt takes the ride. I don't think we need to say how great of a year Pratt has had. Probably the greatest jockey in the world, if you ask, most people. But early adopter, I just think he's going to be the horse you want coming out of there. You see in the where is this? The trouble line. Sorry, he was checked at the 8th pole in that last one. We showed the replay on Big Hoof Energy on Tuesday, and that was a pretty substantial check. And then he managed to regain his momentum and come on again towards the finish. Notable that Manny Franco, switches over to the 4, but I think it was more like Pratt wanted this ride, and Pratt kind of goes first call. So you can't really look into the jockey. What is that? Jockey musical chairs or jockey carousel, whatever you want to call it. So. Right. I like it, though. Franco, obviously no slouch in the saddle when it comes to turf routers and runners in general, as he's one of the top ones in that winter colony. But gotta love Pratt as they kind of wrap up all the turf racing this weekend. I'm going to take early adopter as my top pick. 3-1 is a pretty nice price. I'd be very happy to put a win bet on this horse, and I'd certainly bet the exact of 4-9. An irresponsible amount of times if they were at their morning lines of 3-1 and I think it's 4-1 is the 4 9-2. Yeah, no, I would bet that an irresponsible amount of times to the point where FanDuel would send me a warning. So that I'm going 4-9 in here. I don't know. There's a good handful of runners coming out of the Pilgrim Stakes. I just think that Chad Brown, this runner with the trouble in that last one, which was pretty substantial. I'm going to go ahead and take that horse on top with, a little Jack and Jim underneath. So I saw the race 4-9. Jackson saw it with just the 4. And now we go back to Del Mar for leg number 5. And this is another maiden race. This time, though, we are going a mile on the turf. It is state breds once again. There we go. I think it's we got 4 or 5 in this cross-country pick 5 are turf races, which that's always a ton of fun. I'll throw the picks up here. I'm going 2-4-8. Jackson is going 2-5. So we're going a mile. Number 2 is Hey Jesse. It's my my top pick probably in this spot. Jackson, how'd you see it?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure about the quality of this field. I know the 4 Renatus is probably going to be your favorite, but she's had her chances, I thought, and both those races going a mile on the grass. She didn't get the job done either of those days, so I try to look elsewhere. I think the 2 can improve. You see that the pace was pretty speed favoring that day, and she closed past a few rivals, and I just think she's one that can take a step forward. She's drawn better on the inside. She just has more upside for me, so that's where I went to the 2 here.
Absolutely, yeah. I saw the same thing and was not bet too hard in that debut, and I mean, ran respectable, but McCarthy has okay first-time out numbers. Obviously, you see the 0-for-18 for second-time starters and 0-for-13 with 2-year-olds, which doesn't exactly scream confidence, but I do love when Frey hops aboard for McCarthy, as they are hitting at about 21% with a great ROI of $7.30 at Del Mar, but above $4 anywhere and everywhere and whenever they team up. So I love to see that. Second-time starter, they can obviously take a big jump up in what they're going to be, in their ability. But yeah, you mentioned the 4, that's Renatus, whatever. Rispoli's on board for Antonio Garcia, kind of low percentage trainer, if you will, for the Del Mar meet, but he's certainly capable of popping at a big price. Something that jumped off to me, I don't know if you noticed this one, but 2 Back was the favorite in the maiden special weight ranks versus this level pretty much. Speed favoring race and kind of sat right up there. Comes out of the same race as the 2 in their debut, actually. But was the favorite in that one. Hector Barrios was aboard that day, and I mean, Hector gave her a great ride, excuse me. But I love the breeding here. Clubhouse Ride obviously will run on dirt, turf, or gravel, whatever you put under that horse is going to run. And then out of a Curlin mare, so should relish the 2 turns. Her 2 best efforts have come going 2 turns on grass. Had a third in the first try, second in the second try. So I'm thinking first in the third try. So that's enough for me to, want to pick that horse on top. You picked the 5 as well on your pick 5 ticket. That's Almond Joy. I actually know one of the owners of this horse, and I was talking to him after that last effort at Santa Anita, and he's like, yeah, that crossing just threw her off big time. She just didn't like it. So they run her back here. She came out of that race fine. You see, she kind of picked up her feet towards the end. But what did you like here with this horse stretching out?
Yeah, this is my top pick, and I thought really long and hard about singling this horse. I just think she's going to run a big race here, and great name also, by the way. Fantastic name. In her debut, she ran really well. Hot Girl Walk as a stakes winner, and no shame in what she did there. Closed late, going too short. Second time out, same thing. Was just I don't think she's a sprinter, right? She ran well. This runner-up came back to win a preloaded maiden special weight at Santa Anita. He totally tossed Oakleaf. Said she just doesn't want any part of that competition. And then you mentioned last time she had some trouble in there. It was just a weird race. Like no one really did anything. The pace was really slow, but they were also really strung out. And she was getting going late. I mean, she was closing. She was the only one making up any ground in the final furlong. She galloped out really well. I think she's going to really appreciate stretching out to a mile. And in a field that I don't really love anyone, she'd be a pretty good push for me.
I do too. This horse was nominated to run in one of the undercard stakes on Breeders' Cup Friday, I believe. But obviously they had just ran at Santa Anita like the week before, so they didn't go to that spot. So promising. That race was a 2-turn turf race, by the way. I forget the name of it.
Probably Test Scores race.
Yeah, probably that race. Yeah. But instead of that, they opt for this spot, which obviously is going to be a lot easier. So got to look forward to Almond Joy running. I'll probably be out there on Saturday to watch these races. So I'll have a little, side interest being, friends with one of the owners. But that is race number. I want to touch on the number 8. 4, 5, 6, 7. I think it's Orange Thunder is the one that's going to be ridden by Kazushi Kimura, who had an excellent last week at Del Mar, won, I think, 5 races over the weekend. So as you see, all 5 of his wins came, Friday and Saturday and Sunday of this past week. This horse gets to go back out to the 2 turns at Del Mar, where she ran a pretty good effort 2 back over the summer. Lost to Tequila and Therapy, who's a pretty decent runner in the Calbred ranks, and I think has come back to run a respectable, I want to say 3rd. I don't know. But
Tequila and Therapy?
Sorry?
Tequila and Therapy? I think she won, right? Didn't she upset the stake race on the undercard? O'Neill, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, please. She might have, but I think she ran between there. So that might be where I got confused. So Orange Thunder, sorry. Craig Lewis trains this runner. Another one out of Clubhouse Ride. Unusual heat on the bottom. So that's Calbred all over the place. But clearly enjoyed the 2 turns. Got her feet wet doing it and gets back to doing it again. Never really worse than, well, I guess had the 4th place finish. So that is what it is. But was only 3 lengths out of it at the finish line. And I think, I don't know, this field's not super tough. She should be able to get the job done if she gets a good trip. And Kimura's the hot hand, so I'd happily ride that in the last leg of the cross-country pick 5.
And the horse did win the stake race on the undercard. She was like,
thank you. Tequila and Therapy. Yeah. Tequila and Therapy did come back to win the stake race. That was a pretty big upset. I don't know many people that had that. Let me throw you. Oh, you did, didn't you?
I was like 7 deep. Doesn't count.
Yeah, you were 7 deep. Here are the cross-country pick 5 tickets that we have, and we just went over. I'll talk through mine one more time. I got 2 singles, starting it off with the 3 Valenzen Day, and then I'm 5 deep in the next leg at Aqueduct. I'm going to single the 2 at Del Mar in the first race. Then I'm going 2 deep with the 4 and 9. I feel pretty confident there. And then in the last leg, I'm going 2, 4, 8, which you just touched on. We gave ourselves a $75 budget, and I came in pretty 5 times under that. However, this is the kind of pick 5 ticket I play. I just kind of narrowed down and all. Sorry?
You're looking for style points over here.
Yeah, right? Not really. No, I'll press this ticket up a bunch. But $15 ticket. That's kind of where I ended up. And then Jackson, I'll pass it over to you.
Yeah, just that first race, I'm trying to be the big favorite in there. That's why I'm spready. To be honest, I'll probably come back and play it again, singling that horse, and then really pressing up the stronger opinions, just because she makes some sense in there. That second leg, I like the 1-2-9. I'm pretty comfortable with those horses. I'd honestly be very surprised if it's not one of those three. So I feel like I can lock that race up. Same with the next one. I know I'm 5 deep out of 8, but I think I have that race pre-locked up in there. And then just got to get those strong opinions home. Jack and Jim is my single. Is a strong push. I do think the 9 that you mentioned is probably the only other horse I really am worried about. If someone else wins, and so be it. And then the last race, I like the 2 and 5 in there. I think those two have the most upside in that race. That doesn't seem that strong for the level. So gonna hang my hat on those two and hope for the best.
I like it. And if any horse but the 3 wins that first one, you're guaranteed to get a payout over that $75. And I would even say if it hits, you'll probably be in good shape no matter what. Those pools are normally pretty healthy. And the payouts are normally pretty good as well, because you're playing against everyday horse players like you and me who occasionally press the wrong button when we play a ticket. So sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, that's what a mess today was. But hey, we move on. To cover now, we are going. That's Del Mar. I just shared that. Oh, sorry. There we go. Sorry. I have too many tabs open over here. I am all over the place. So we are going into Woodbine right now. We're going to touch on the Autumn Stakes first, and I am there. Look at me. I did it. Okay. We only went our top 2 picks here. This is races 10 and 11 on the day. Jackson, you're going to lead us off with the number 1, RD Storm, your top pick.
Yeah, RD Storm. This race was actually carded last weekend, and I was fully ready to make a pretty big win bet on him. And then the race was postponed. It ended up being postponed to this upcoming Saturday, which probably works out best for this horse more than anyone in the field, because his last race was his first race off basically a year layoff, and then he was wheeling back in like 2 weeks. So the extra week probably helps him more than anyone in here, because he'll just have an extra week to recover from that and get ready for this race. And that effort last time was really good. I mean, the 99 buyer leaps off the page, right? And he's going to get back to a turn race where he's had more than his share of success at. He loves his trip. He loves his track. And I thought there's a lot of speed in here. And since he's drawn over there on the inside, he'll be able to save every inch of ground, every step of the way. And should that pace start coming apart, he's going to be the one I think is going to be heard from late, because he's got plenty of back class to make a big move into this pace. So he'll be a pretty strong push for me in here. I love the price at 10-1. And I'd imagine if he runs well here, you'll probably see him at a Turfway for that new stakes festival they have in the middle of December, I believe. I think they have like 5 new stakes races. So I'd probably expect to see a lot of these horses there, actually, now that I think of it.
Yeah, that's the Turfway schedule, I think, just got released today or yesterday. I just saw it on the calendar on the X feed before we went live here. But some really good races that they put together. Great racing calendar, and you got to love night racing. As soon as all the action ends during the day, you look at your phone. It's Turfway in 30 minutes. It's kind of like when you end a day at Santa Anita or Del Mar and you see Los Al getting ready. It's like that, but even a step above that. Depending on who you talk to. I am going 6-1 in the Autumn Stakes. 6 is my top choice, and that is War Bomber. Jackson, you're my Woodbine guy. Do you know why we're going 1 mile and an 1/8 this year, and this race was 1 mile and a 16th last year? Is it just for funsies?
Just for fun.
Okay.
Because they can.
Yeah, because they can. Hey, if you can do it, then do it, I guess.
Yep.
This runner, War Bomber, only has in the effort in this race last year was pretty disappointing in every way, shape, and form. Ran about 6 steps out of the gate and then just packed it in. In the worst race this horse has run. Wow. Worst race this horse has run in the available lines that we see here, going back to the Eclipse Stakes in June of 2023. I just think this horse is in some better form right now. Obviously, this horse loves, probably prefers the 6 furlongs, but that race at 1.3 mile back in the King Edward, losing to Filo de Ariana, who is an excellent horse in her own right, or his own right. Her own right? I think it's his. Thank you. Again, you're my Woodbine guy.
Yep.
I'm falling apart today. So War Bomber takes War Bomber here, going 1 mile and an 1/8. I think this horse should have some good tactical speed. I see this horse sitting kind of in that second flight Warfront on top out of an Irish mare. Not too familiar with that, but bred by Coolmore, which no hate on them. They know how to breed a good horse or two. Maybe not a dirt runner in City of Troy, but they can do whatever else. So I'm thinking War Bomber here, but I also gave a good solid look to RD Storm, who we just talked about at the 1. But yeah, 6 is my top choice. You picked the number 11, I believe. Yeah, number 11, Dresden Row in second. What'd you like here?
Yeah, he's just a horse. He's 3-year-old on Improve, and he just seems to be running really well this year. He hasn't lost on the synthetic, and that last race especially was pretty impressive because they probably moved too early. It was a fast pace. He got the jump on everyone and just got a little tired late, but still enough to hang on. And he's just a horse, like I said, he's on the Improve. I think he'll get a decent trip from this post because most of the speed is drawn to his inside, and he should be probably mid-pack, maybe a little bit more forward than that. Needs to take a step forward to have a big say in this race, but I don't think it's impossible. And I think you'll get that price just based on the draw alone.
You absolutely should. I love the Woodbine Stakes races. The fields are so deep and contentious. I hate playing horizontal wagers over there because I can just it's similar to Kentucky Downs, and sometimes the prices just don't make any sense to me. Like I could look at this race 37 times and not come up with a winner. In some of them, but other times it just makes a lot of sense. So it's a lot of fun to play those sequences, but I've really found the most success in vertical bets at Woodbine. So Jackson, you are the Woodbine guy though, but I'm taking 6-1 in this race. Jackson, you are taking 1-11. RD Storm, obviously a big push for you. We will move on to race number 11, the final race that we'll be covering. The Kennedy Road Stakes, you have the morning line favorite at 4-5, Patches O'Houlihan. So we're probably both picking this horse on top. I know we're not. I'm picking the race 4-1. Jackson, you are picking the race 1-5. Why don't you start with the morning line favorite, Patches O'Houlihan, and lead us off here?
Yeah, he's just better than these. He's faster early. He's faster late. He loves the synthetic gear. He's 9 for 10 over it. And I just don't see anyone that can run with him early. I don't think anyone's going to run at him late because No Balls is not the same horse. So I fully expect him to win this race. And he's another I would imagine would go to Turfway because that's a pretty big purse they're going to have for him in about 4 weeks.
Yeah. I see. Oh, it looks like all of his races have come at Woodbine though.
Yeah.
So, I hope he ships because he'd be really competitive. And a horse that you mentioned just doesn't have it anymore is my top choice. So maybe yikes. But I picked No Balls on top, not just for the name, which is obviously hilarious considering this gelding. I think enough said there. So awesome. I love No Balls in this spot, honestly. I think the switch to synthetic might just wake him up. And he hasn't been the same horse, but when he is faced and knocked off some of the best. I mean, he's won the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. They threw a Breeders' Cup winner in here, as you texted me yesterday. I hope this would be the horse that you're talking about because I don't know who else has won a Breeders' Cup race. So I don't know. You see, War Bomber is the number 5 who is double entered in these 2 races. So I don't know which one War Bomber is going to run in. So, that's its own thing, but we don't need to get into that. But No Balls, I don't know. I think Patches might face some pace pressure. Yes, he is faster early and he is faster late. I just think maybe if he takes a weird step or if he's just, I don't know, the rail draw is tough. He hasn't broken from the rail in any of his previous starts. So that's something new that he's going to have to overcome. I don't think that he's going to fail that test necessarily, but I am going to try and beat him with a horse that has the back class, does have the talent on his best day, and, races a little bit lighter than Patches does. And that's number 4, No Balls.
Yeah. I mean, am I going to be shocked if he wins? No, but.
Oh, he doesn't race lighter. They both have the same equipment change. They're both geldings. So, okay. Yeah, that's what I meant. All right. Jackson, the horse you picked second is the number 5, War Bomber, who was my top pick in the previous race we just covered. What do you like here about this runner going the 6 furlongs on Tapeta now?
I really think this is only the horse that can win because if Patches loses, it's because he goes way too fast and probably with No Balls pressing him every step of the way, which if that does happen, it's War Bomber for me. He doesn't want any part of a 1 1/8, so I really hope they show up here. He was that 3-back race in the King Edward. He should have beaten Fila de Ariana. I mean,
I had him that day.
Head to right. So it was over, and the distance just got him, and he just doesn't want to go that far. And I remember I bet him 2-back against Patches, and he just got a weird ride. Like he was never comfortable, just in a weird spot the entire time. He needs this pace to come apart because he's not at the same caliber as Patches. But I don't think it's impossible. And if he's 8-1 and put maybe a little saber ticket on him, I don't have a problem with that. And I really don't have a problem with the straight 1-5 exacta.
Nice. I like it. If War Bomber gets in here, War Bomber is definitely a threat to pick up the pieces late. I'm hoping No Balls just kind of presses the entire way around and maybe just kind of gets the jump. And I mean, Patches has had a pretty long season, and that's not to say No Balls hasn't, because he's pretty old at this point. So it'll be interesting to see. But that is the 11th race, 11th and final from Woodbine. I'm picking the race 4-1. Jackson, you're picking the race 1-5. And then I will throw our cross-country pick 5 tickets up one more time here as we kind of wrap everything up. And you see, I'll take the Woodbine off, I guess. But yeah, I'm going. I got a $15 ticket for the cross-country. Jackson at 75. Again, I'll probably press this ticket up a good bit. As I should, because if it chalks out, I don't want to be staring at a $62 return, but maybe I play a little B ticket and I fade the 3 in the first leg, because I think that's the most vulnerable favorite. Just kind of, well, I don't know. I think it's the logical single that everybody's going to single. So if I can make a ticket where I beat him, then I think you look at some pretty nice payouts. But that is the cross country pick 5, and those are the Kennedy Stakes or Kennedy Road Stakes and the Autumn Stakes from Woodbine. Obviously postponed from last week going into this week. So I hope everybody enjoyed watching. Jackson, you, myself, and Kaylee will be back on Tuesday for episode 2 of Big Hoof Energy, or maybe Wednesday. We're going to do Wednesday. We're going to see if we can't get the morning lines on our past performances when we go live for that show. Just kind of help the audience out. I want to thank everybody for watching. It means a lot that you guys tune in. This has been Get Bucked, episode 12. I'm your host, Ryan, and this is Jackson Muniz. And